Talk to me about our hair.
We're God, so we have non-ether hair, and your non-ether hair is your crown. The Bible call it our glory. Your hair is basically an extension of your nervous system. When you first born, or when you first conceived in your mother's womb.
Just to get here. Okay, so that's a cosmic thing. If you don't have neuromelanin and carbon, that means you're not a dark matter energy being. Now, what's dark matter energy? This is the non-ether. Okay, so when we say non-ether, now we're talking genetics. Okay, so this is what makes us non-ether beings. All this stardust, all this neuromelanin, all this carbon that's descended from the astral planes. This is energy. So this is a powerful thing, Negro. You see what I'm saying? This is powerful. Why do you think when they used to kill certain versions of us, let's use Nat Turner, they would skin, they would fillet us. They would fillet us. Keep your body parts, keep your genitals, keep your heart, keep this, keep the ether. Okay, this is a very powerful thing. This is a weapon. You're a weapon. You're a whole weapon. Okay, but why don't human beings have that? Why is it that when black people and Latino people get in the sun, we charge up? That's genetics. Okay, so these genetics is DEA. DEA. When you go past neuromelanin, and you talk about dark matter energy was formed in 9 ethers. So when you're dealing with the 9, these are the most powerful beings in the cosmos. Any beings that's in the 9 ethers or the 9th universe, right? These are the most powerful beings throughout the entire multiverse. Like, that's a fact, right? Because of how powerful the celestial rays are around that had to gather together to create this dark matter energy. Okay, remember, this dark matter energy is a combination of divine feminine energy mixed with divine masculine energy in its essence. That's what dark matter energy is. Okay, I'll repeat that. Remember, dark matter energy is divine feminine energy combined with divine masculine energy at its presence, right? And at its full. You see, that's dark matter energy.
Another reason they don't want you wearing your hair long is because it connects you to nature. The more you let your matted hair, matted ether, the more you let your matted ether grow, it holds all this electricity and energy. See, this is why we wore our hair like that. And we are magnets, magnetism. So this makes you more magnetic. Your hair makes everything about you. It's like your locks is like crystals. Your locks is just like wearing motherfucking crystals. You know what I'm saying? Your locks or your afro, or you let your hair just grow out, braids, locks, goddesses, just natural hair. When you let your hair just grow naturally, you ain't have to do nothing to it. Just let it be natural though. Okay, how you style it You could style it however you want to style it. You need to have some ether on your motherfucking crown. Chakra, my nigga. Especially with all this light coding they're doing. Because then if you got ether, it helps protect you against it, especially if you're aware. The longer my ether get, the more powerful I become, the more tapped in I become with everything, with all of nature. Everything be attracted to me. Say, look, when you go in the military, they program the fuck out you, right? And notice, what do the military do? Shave their head. They understand the signs of you, man. They understand the signs of you. And when you get to noticing this shit, you can see it's war. Every little thing has been around you just to hinder you. And once you accept that, now see, that's the cookie. That's the cookie that nobody wants to crumble.
And now that we have defined that, then do this for me. Put Farad's picture up on his day, just once. What do I mean by that? Why don't they put Master Farad Muhammad's picture up on Savior's Day? Right. Isn't he the Savior? Right, yeah. Didn't he come on that day? Right. Didn't he save them, as they say? Right. The lost but now found. How come his picture never goes up? Right. How come his picture is not in Muhammad speaks all throughout it? If God came to me in a person and saved me, I'd have his picture on my chest, the way some of you guys are walking around with my picture on your chest. Because then that's our Savior, and you ain't afraid to say it. That's right. Yo, Sunni must say, y'all worship Imam Isha. Say, it's better than worshiping Muhammad. At least Imam Isha's alive. I can touch him and talk to him and watch him fall down the hill. It becomes more realistic. Like, yeah, he's my idol. I idolize him, but I worship Allah. You follow that? Now you take that home and sleep with it. But why isn't Master Farad Muhammad's picture up on Savior's Day? Did you ever wonder? Because if you saw that picture, you'd walk out that temple. You would not stay there long if you really kept looking up every Savior's Day. Because somewhere along the line, inside of you, the genealogy of ISIS is going to explode, and you're going to say, that man don't have 7, 8, or 9 ether. That man is standing there with 6 ether, flank straight here. That is not one of us.
Tremendous honor, peace, and war times. This is part 2 of Correcting Yahki, Awakened by 9 Ether Hell. Listening to the 3 songs sound right cosmic reasoning. As you all have heard 3 different individuals make incorrect statements about what 9 Ether is and was many million years ago. However, before we move further for educational purposes, this writer proved that Mr. York gave Afro Uno, aka Johnny Eugene Brown, was the actual one that brought forth the word Nawapu and the terms 9, 6, and 3 ether to the black masses since 1967 AD. Johnny Eugene Brown, Afro Uno, rest in peace, November 23rd, 1926, passed May 3rd, 2011. This is the book that the Sabians, formerly known as Nawabians, put out a book called The Harvest that says 2015 on the cover. And it says here, so they watched and waited to see it if it was Wu Sabat. They knew about Nawapu of Afro Unu. Alright, so once again, we had to clarify this years ago to Dr. York's followers who didn't have any knowledge of York's plagiarism, and then those who knew about his plagiarism and turned a blind eye to it. All right, so they had to eventually make corrections and updates and give it up. Excuse me. Now let's read what Amanubi Rakapata Afro Uno wrote back then, and then we, the 3 sons, will happily explain. Bible Interpretation Explanation Booklet 1 says, 9 ether works by reason through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in part 1968. Reason is thinking above the animal level. 9 reason is the highest form of mental process. 9 reason is the mind of the original creator, the true stars, the suns. 9 reason is the elevator of Ethiopian minds, and 9 knowledge, the knowledge that 9 reason produces, is the liberator of our minds and vice versa. A person sees, hears, feels, tastes, and smells with his or her mind via the nervous system, which is the network and tentacles of that brain. When the Ethiopian race lost this ability to reason soundly by way of the evolutionary forces, servitude was inevitable. Leviathan, the zodiac, is the evolutionary forces. Ethiopians, our ability to reason soundly, called non-reason, has returned, and non-reason is the emancipator because it determines for us what is right or wrong, true or false, and thereby provides the correct information necessary for our liberation guidance. Only those who can reason ninely and those who can understand and follow non-reasoning will survive World War III and be the future of the Ethiopian race, because only those who can reason ninely or follow non-reasoning in part 9 board count number 18 through 19. Listen to reason. One of the most important things to remember about the creation process is that any creation or growth done directly by nature itself is always done with brain newts as prime mover, the first to activate matter into a brain formula, and reason, brain energy, also called mind, who grow and control the creation via nerve systems in unity and keeping with the laws of nature. In other words, the universe of nature, the largest growth of nature, are no accidents that happen at random, for their creator or grower is the intelligence called Nupu, non-ether and non-reason and non-mind. The first emanation of the one supreme being known as eternal absolute nature and Nous, Nupu, is one reason why a flare-up star in the universe is called a nova. Novum, ordinarily meaning new and nine, but literally meaning nine in vacuum. Nupu's number is indeed 9. Nupu's name is 9. And Nupu's nature is 9. Nupu is capable of creating, growing universes because Nupu is plural in power and purpose, honoring both male and female principles are the combination of all energies of matter that can exist in the same place at the same time in scientific life. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 1, pages 190 through 191. Listen to sound right, Cosmic Nine Reason. Noon stated that Nupu's name is 9. When we look into this by way of the gematria, it shows this. All right, take the word Nupu, you put it in the gematria, and it adds up to 9. The H is silent. All right, let's look at the Pasejet. Right, these are the orbs, the sun and the 8 planets. Pluto is not a planet. When you put in the Pasejet, it comes out to 9. These are what the 9 orbs, the sun and the 8 planets, were called in ancient Kemet, and it equals to 9, and it equals 9 in English. So you type in the 9 planets. 9 in the gematria. Alright, so this is the sun, and you count the other 8 joints, it's 9 altogether. These are the physical representatives of us Nupu and Zupu in the time of our rulership in the top half. However, this is the bottom half, and we Nupu are only mental energies at this time. September the 30th, 2023. This is the first true definition and difference between 9 mind, which are brain newts, and 9 ether. Brain newts are the prime mover in matter into brain formula. So 9 mind moves first, then puts chaotic matter into creation order. Let's read how this process goes for the listening audience and non-educational purposes. Listen to reason. When the matter of nature is impregnated by brain newts and the other factors necessary, indeed the blackness of vacuum germinates the majestic conception of universes, and vacuum also provides the space needed as time provides the continuity. The powers of absolute nature work spontaneously, automatically to do what they are supposed to. The processes of universe impregnations and germinations go like this. Brain loose by cycle, season, and reason move chaotic matter into cloud-like formation of opposite forces in the center of the area chosen by the nature of nature for a universe location. Opposite clouds, opposite gases, and chemicals clash, run together like the opposite gas in a thunderstorm, and these loud and most potent explosions create vast vacuum holes. And like the clouds, these huge vacuum holes also run together, causing a colossal, gigantic, immense vacuum hole, an incredible black hole. With this space definitely cleared and void of matter, brain newts can now pick and choose the highest quality matter for the brain core of the alpha star of the universe as matter moves in to fill in the vacuum ball. Therefore, the Big Bang that mundane scientists mention and try to describe happens before the stars begin to form. Let it be remembered always, and let be known. Listen to reason, the gestation period of a universe. So here, this is what our ancestors talked about in the beginning when it was chaotic matter, none. And then what happened is all of these are the non-ether chemicals that are there. And as the chemicals hit each other opposite, they start exploding until it's clear. And now, sound right reason is clearing out all of these for the vacuum. The space is already there. So the matter now is clearing because they're popping and locking and, exploding until it's a big gigantic hole. And then as they move that hole, then you can see the turning counterclockwise. And then sound right region starts filling in the black hole a nebula. All right. So here, the vacuum black ball hole, the beginning of a universe, matter invasion of the vacuum hole, the rotating, growing nebula. So that's what happened. And once they clear everything out, then sound right reason starts to spinning, and then start filling in the hole with the chemicals that will be ready to grow a universe. So all of the Big Bang stuff that scientists theorize about, that took place prior to all the universes being grown. All right. Introduction to the Nature, Nature, Book 2, pages 29 through 30. Listen to sound right cosmic reasoning. The men whom this writer added into the beginning of this video did not know about what took place before the erroneous things they were saying. Why? Because these writings didn't come from Mr. York, nor did we Nupu make any mental contact with him. As you have read above, it describes how non-reason put the universes together from the chaotic matter into cloud-like formations, and the creation process happens. Now these clouds are called gases, and it is these gases that must be defined. Non-ether is the mental power and chemical forces that grew the universes. Non-ether is the combination of all existing gases and chemicals. Non-ether is the original forces of order. In the form and formula of non-ether, our Ethiopian ancestors grew the universes and then personified themselves as African pygmies at the source of the Nile in equatorial Africa. Non-ether began as a spontaneous fire in primeval chaos and grew bodies for itself called true stars or suns, one of which is the sun of our solar system. Ethiopians were personifications of the suns because our energy grew the suns. 9 ball count 134. So again, if you go back to the beginning of the video, when you listen to them, they're not saying this. They're saying other things that their minds are warped about, because York didn't really know what it was, and that's what they got their stuff about non-ether beings and all that stuff, and York putting all this stuff in his books, making people think that they are non-ether beings today. and this is not scientifically sound, and nor is it chemically possible. You could stand for all of that. All right, but we're going to get into that. All right, so once again, once you listen and read the books, you can understand that what is this? Yahki didn't know what he really was talking about. York didn't know what he was talking about. Rashad Jamal didn't know what he was talking about. Young Pharaoh didn't know what he was talking about. And neither did David Banner, the rapper, didn't know what he was talking about when he spoke about 9 ether. Listen to reason. Universe ether is the combination of all elements and all kinds of matter that can become energy and become energy to the degree that can exist at any given point on the smack circle of order. And this means that ether at the right side horizon, origination of the circle of order, has a greater amount, not a greater number of different elements of matter and kinds of matter in its composition than ether at the left side horizon. I'm going to read that again. It says, universe ether is the combination of all elements and all kinds of matter that can become energy and have become energy to the degree that can exist at any given point on the smack circular order. And this means that ether at the right side, right, what we call it 6 origination of the circle of order, has what? A greater amount, not a greater number of different elements of matter and kinds of matter in its composition than ether at the left side horizon evolution. Often the same circle, and is thereby much stronger at the right side horizon. Introduction to the Nature, Book 1, number 65, page 59 and part. Listen to sound right cosmic reasoning. 9 ether is the combination of all existing gases. The question becomes, how many gases exist? The answer is 99. All right, so this is a basic periodic table. You have 99 natural, then you have like 100 more. They got like go up to 118 that mankind was messing with, but it's 99. However, there's a lot missing. We Nupu said 9 ether is the combination of all gases, not all gases into one. At this time, our sun is made of hydrogen turned into helium mostly. That's basically 2 elements. However, in the beginning, this was not so. Instead of 1 element, our sun had 7 at 6 east. Here's an example. 7 ether element. All right. This is how it looked back then, opposed to 1 hydrogen turning into 1 helium at the time of this writing. This means our sun has lost 6 hydrogen into helium from the time of 6 west. Also, the periodic table will look more populated. Instead of 99 single elements, it will be 7 elements per 99. This would equal 693 elements. 6 plus 9 plus 3 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. In other words, there were 7 of each 99 elements we see today. It took 6 million years for 7 ether, 693 elements to become 8 ether, which is 792 elements. 7 plus 9 plus 2 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. This is just an example. You had 8 hydrogen elements at 8 ether. So they would go from hydrogen and turn into helium. Another 6 million years at 9 north, 9 ethers manifested in a periodic table at 891 elements at that time. 8 plus 9 plus 1 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. This is what it looks like at this point. Nine hydrogen. This means the temperature on Earth was extremely hot.
We see the arrow from 6 west down to 3 south. And the other side is 3 south going upward. 9 Mind Nupu pulls the circle upward from 3 south. Let us move on. In time, we are now at the end of 3 on the circle, and Nupu 9 forces are beginning to pull us Nunibus up by mind in time. The bottom half of the circle of time is 6, the dead, and the top half of the circle is 9, the living. So we are now headed back toward the living in mind, and our physical activities will follow. Now I'm going to go into the degrees and temperatures of the sun, earth, and moon. The sun's degrees from present day 7/15/2022. 3 south, 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. 4 ether, 600,000 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 ether, 36 million degrees. 6 ether, 2,160,000,000 degrees. 7 ether, 129,600,000,000 degrees. 8 ether, 7,776,000,000,000 degrees. 9 ether, 466,560,000,000,000 degrees. The Earth's degrees from present day 7/15/2022, 3 south, 57 degrees Celsius. 4 ether, 3,430 degrees. 5 ether, 205,200 degrees. 6 ether, 12,312,000 degrees. 7 ether, 738,720,000 degrees. 8 ether, 44,320,200,000 degrees. 9 ether, 2,659,390,000,000 degrees. 2 plus 6 plus 5 plus 9 plus 3 plus 9 plus 2 plus 6 zeros equal 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. The moon's degrees from present day 7/15/2022, 3 south, 183 degrees Celsius. 4 ether, 10,980 degrees. 5 ether, 658,800 degrees. 6 ether, 39,528,000 degrees. 7 ether, 2,371,680,000 degrees. 8 ether, 142,300,800,000 degrees. 9 ether, 2,659,392,000,000 degrees.
The blackness that the Caucasian gets by basking in the sun is temporary, for as soon as he or she quits basking, that person starts getting paler. But it is different with the Ethiopian. Our blackness is inherent from the sun, that is our being the sun's original offspring. He empowered us Ethiopians with the same power that he has, the power to be black and produce black offspring. In other words, our skin is black because the sun we Ethiopians have in our reproductive system and marrow of our bones that what called sun heat genes. And again, this is showing you that York was not aware and was incorrect when he pointed to his body and said, we have a sun, and that's why they call one of the chakra systems a solar plex, because there's a sun there. That's not true. The sun powers is in the blood, in the bone marrow. This is coming from the nine ball, because the chakra lights are lights of energy that turn. and you can't detect those energy points. You understand? But when you're spiritual, you can see those points, or you can do practices of meditation, and you can feel the vibration of those energy points are there. But those chakra points have nothing to do with the actual heat in our genes that makes us become darker. Okay, so Mr. York was completely wrong by saying that. Your solar plex has nothing to do with the darkness and the blackness and melanin in our body. Okay, stop it. All right. In other words, our skin is black because, like the sun, we Ethiopians have in our reproductive system. And look, marrow of our bones was called what? Sun heat genes. So the sun genes are in the bone marrow, not in the solar plexus. All right. And these sun heat genes become part of the blood, see? And they would emanate outward to the skin, not the solar plexus. And our sun heat genes burn the skin black, not the solar plexus. All right, that's a lie. The more sun heat genes one has, the blacker the person will be. Therefore, being black is being superior in color because the suns of the universes are jet black, and they are superior to all other universal bodies. Hence, black is not the only beautiful, but black is not only beautiful, but also the best and purest of the colors. The sun is male and Mother Earth is female. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominence. The sun has antenna and granulation, and Ethiopian woolly hair looks like that granulation. So our woolly hair may correctly be called granulation, using an English expression. If one puts a straight strand of hair closer and closer to a fire, that strand of hair will granulate, that is, ball up because of the potency of the heat. The Ethiopian carries his and her sun within, and we appeared on planet Earth at a time when no other race could survive in the Earth's what? Atmosphere, because just after creation, the atmosphere was what? Too dense and potent for the weakness of human beings called mankind. Mankind is all people with straight hair by nature. The Ethiopian became identified with mankind down through evolution. That's because the gamma radiation, which is decay, caused mutation in basically the original beings that were here, our ancestors, when they gave birth to us as descendants of the pygmies and the Ethiopians. They were small. The radiation decay caused mutation in persons, places, and things. Okay, and so we became more weaker as we became similar to mankind, because we were started off at the top of evolution, but then we, through time, nature moves in opposites. We became weaker as we lost power, and mankind races that become dominant over us because they were born by way of the Zoop. We were born strictly from the pygmy gods through procreation. We were born in the Zoop, but we didn't come from the Zoop, meaning the animalistic type of powers of the zodiac that brought these other races here. All right, so we lost a lot of ourselves as nature couldn't do nothing about it. Formatted us to be less and less, to be dominated by them, and this is why people don't realize that when you look and see that they're able to duplicate what we do because of the negative forces of nature who manifested themselves in different formats. It was a time when nobody could dance like us. It was a time when nobody could cook like us. It was a time nobody can, behave and act like us. But over time, we lost it. Now other people can duplicate and copycat and then make us believe that we stealing from them, for those who are mental dead, okay? Moreover, the sun heat genes and those who had to live in the Earth's original atmosphere had to be much stronger than those of mankind who came much later. In other words, the sun heat genes in the African pygmies were so dense and potent in their bone marrow. We talking about fire and heat and reproductive system, see? Not no solar plexus. They turned their hair kinky, as fire does to a strand of hair. Hence, woolly hair since woolly hair is superior to straight hair, as the suns are superior to other universal bodies. Woolly hair by nature assures the Ethiopian that he and she are the originals on the planets, thereby the original personifications of the suns. We bigger Ethiopians evolved from the smaller Ethiopia, now called the African Pygmies, who live in equatorial Africa. We iterate, the only people who could survive in the Earth's original dense and hot atmosphere just after the fiery creation were those who had sun heat genes within so strong that they would kink the hair, and those people were our ancestors, the African Pygmies. Black skin is sun skin, and woolly hair is sun hair. The sun is 9, and 9 is the ball. 9 ball count, 1, numbers 11 through 14. All right, so the sun is 9, and 9 is the ball. 9 ball count, 1, numbers 11 through 14. Now, when we look at the let's look at the gematria of the word sun. See, when you type sun in gematria, it comes out to 9. All right, which may conveniently be drawn as the circle. This is the symbol of the sun in hieroglyphs GN5. All right, in the metanetta. Listen to sound right cosmic reasoning. Mundane scientists have also confirmed that Earth and the sun were much hotter in their beginnings. The only way this was possible, there had to be more hydrogen atoms than they are today. In ancient times, the African pygmy was called Ta and was worshipped as the personification of the original creator. The pygmies are from the sun and we are from the pygmies, and this means we bigger Ethiopians are the sun too. We're evolutionary Ta. Mother Earth gave birth to our ancestors, the African pygmies from the source of the Nile on the equator in Africa. The eggs of Mother Earth in the source of the Nile River were impregnated by 9 ether rays from Father Sun, the 9 power. Like the sun, woolly hair symbolizes potency, life, and originality. The Ethiopian is the only one of the races who grows his or her crown by nature. Woolly hair stands up like a crown, and this makes the Ethiopian the natural king and queen of the universe by nature. This is a brief introduction to 9 Ethiopia, and 9 is your own woolly haired self. 9 ball count, 1, 11, numbers 11 through 14. When 9 ether started its transition from nuclear fusion, combinations of elements for life of life purposes, to nuclear fission, decaying or separation of elements for life of death purposes, brought in the advent of 6 ether hydrogen and all other elements that had decayed to 6 elements apiece per 99. That's 6 times 99 of the elements equals 594 elements on the periodic chart at that point. 5 plus 9 plus 4 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9, or 666, or 18, because 9 ether has turned into 6 ether. 6 in space, 6 in matter, and 6 in time. All right, so the hydrogen became green because the red was the infrared energies coming through at the hydrogen going into helium at that time, because that's the color of light that the sun is emanating at that time. All right, so when 6 ether comes in, it's gamma radiation, and this is the color of light that's coming from the sun that's reflected in the plant life and the trees and stuff like that. Shout out to Anute for making that known a couple years ago. Even at the time, it was less heat than 7 ether to 9 ether, but it was much hotter than it is today at the time of this writing. Now, when you compare with Mr. York's incorrect statement about what he said it was, you can see it was made up. So we can go to the Holy Tablets, 1997 version. You go to the Creation, chapter 1, tablet 1, verse 16, and it says, 9 ether is the combination of all existing gases of nature. Nothing anywhere can be as powerful as all the existing gases. On Earth, These gases are known as radon with an atomic number of 26, xenon with an atomic number 54, krypton with an atomic number 36, argon which is an atomic number of 18, neon with an atomic number of 12, and helium with an atomic number of 2. These are all called the noble gases on a periodic or elemental chart on the physical chart. Holy Tablets, the Creation Tablet 1, number 16. Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Reasoning. The first error is when Mr. York copied this from the 9-ball count and did not equal stand what he was plagiarizing. The quote said all existing gases. Then he listed 6 gases. 9 cannot fit into 6. Radon is 1 gas, which makes it 1 ether. Xenon is 1 gas, which makes it 1 ether as well. As stated before, these elements have lost multiple gases through radioactive decay through evolution. There will be no way these gases are non-ether because they are in a death state and can kill beings in this state. Remember this well. And remember, when non-ether created in the original beginning, the planet and everything was hotter. It was so hot that our ancestors had to be born being able to be as hot and fiery as the planet and the suns, because they had to have that heat, because that's life. In order for life to go and live as long as they was living for millions of years, that means that it had to be way more oxygen on the planet than it is now. Here, nitrogen is like 78% nitrogen, and like oxygen is like lesser percentage than that. But in the top half is in the reverse. In the top half, it's 70-something% oxygen because of the heat and how hot it is. It has to be more oxygen for that fire to be able to burn like that. And so they were able to live longer because of that. So when 6 ether came in, that was the oxygen level started to drop and nitrogen started to take precedence over time. So the pygmy gods, our ancestors, were able to live as long as the temperature was hot enough. But once the temperature started dropping, they began to die after the explosion of 6 ether, which brought forth the flood. The moon lost its water to the earth, and there was like 40 days and 40 nights of rains and tidal waves, and they've been made of fire, and having fire in them, they began to lose that fire and begin to catch colds and to become sick. You understand? So when people become sick, that's when you start to lose body heat and your life force dwindles, and then you die and become cold. So our ancestors only could exist when the planet and the suns was all emanating a high level of temperature. So that's how you know what Mr. York put here was not scientifically sound, because you have to have 8 more elements of all of these elements, all meaning 99, not 6, because it's 99 elements that exist. And so this is the truth in the scientific evidence of that. For the earth to be as hot as she was, that means in her core, she had to have a high level of fire coming forth from her. And it, again, for that water to be here, the water had to have as much H2O in their makeup to be able to stand the heat without becoming evaporating to the point of no water. Everything had to be scientifically and elementally equal enough to where it bears out. Okay? So, too many comments of peace and wartime. We'll be back with part 3.
Talk to me about our
We
hair.
are gods. So we have non-ether hair, and your non-ether hair is your crown. The Bible call it our glory. Your hair is basically an extension of your nervous system. When you first born, or when you first conceived in your mother's womb,